Hi, my name is Jason Wells, and I'm one of the founders of Vingenti Media. Welcome. So my background is law. Actually, I grew up in my family's law firm, and later after college, I ran that law firm for about 7 years, and I went to college and got my degrees in accounting and finance, and while I was running a law firm for part of the time, I was getting my doctorate in law, and my intention was to take my business knowledge and a lot of the experience that I got from business really through osmosis by growing up in a business and run the family business. But by the time I got to the end of law school, it just wasn't something I could see myself doing long term. Law was just a very difficult business, so I set out to do other things, and that's when I met Chris, and Chris was in a similar situation, but from a different point. He was quite a bit younger than me. At the time, I was 30, and he was 20, and he was just really in the middle of college, kind of figuring out what he wanted to do. He eventually completed Virginia Tech and got a finance degree and was going to be a financial planner, but decided that wasn't really for him. And really, the rest is history. We started a business 10 years ago, and it's purely a commission, sales-based business. We've started other businesses since, but really, one of the biggest parts of our success is understanding sales and marketing, particularly focused on websites and online marketing. And our parent company actually has had a division for a long time that has been web focused and online marketing focused. And it's actually Chris was an integral part in taking that division and setting up a new company years ago, which is what you're familiar with in Vingenti Media. Now, the reality of websites, and one of the biggest questions we get from small business owners especially, is really, do I need a website? And that's a fair question, but something I always say to people, and I think this sums it up, is a website these days, right now, is what a physical location to a business was years ago. What do I mean? Well, I remember 20 years ago when my dad was running the law firm, one of the common things we would see is we'd have these lawyers that really didn't have a physical office or a physical location. And many of our clients would not sign a contract with those lawyers because they felt like they were small time. And because we ran an office with a physical location, we had an image and a presence, that was something that made us appear successful, whether we were or not. We were. We knew what we were doing. But the point was, perception is reality. And those other lawyers may have been very good at what they did, but they were perceived as being small time. My point in telling you all this is the website is the new physical location. And I will even go as far to say that if you're in the type of business that really doesn't need a physical location, I would say that's less important than a website. And it amazes me how many small businesses right now spend a ton of money on rent and really look at a website as an expense that's really not worth their time. And I can tell you right now, if you think about your habits nowadays, you're not really going to the phone book. Most people are searching online. Even my dad now is in his 70s, and he didn't grow up with technology like the Gen X, Gen Y generation. He's even turning to the internet to find whatever it is he's looking for. And in fact, I actually spoke with a lawyer the other day, and he's also in his 70s, still practicing, and he said, even when I needed a plumber, I didn't open the phone book up, which was something I would have done even 5 years ago. I turn to Google. And so I think that sums it up. And what I'm going to say to you is, even if you have a website, if it's not up to the standard and the professionalism, and I always create the analogy comparing HD television to standard television. We've all grown accustomed to HD TV where it looks very clear and crisp. And when you look at standard definition television, it's almost like, ooh, I can tell you websites are that way now. A lot of people have websites, but they look like they're 20 years old. And if you're in that situation, you need to really consider getting serious about your website, because I will make the argument that if you have a website and it's kind of standard definition, you're better off not having a website at all. And what I'm proposing is, don't look at a website as a way to get business. Look at a website as a way to keep business. When you have people interested in what you're doing, and whether it be they heard it from word of mouth or whatever, I can tell you if your website looks bad, you're losing business. Many people will turn away when they look at your website and they find that, ooh, it doesn't look very nice. And it's kind of like the physical location analogy I gave earlier. They may look at you and think, this business is small time, or they're not very good at what they do. And that probably is not the case. But remember, the perception becomes the reality. And so you've got to beat that perception with a solid, professional-looking website. Now the next question I get is, okay, there's a ton of web designers, web developers out there. Why are you good at what you do? Well, the first thing I'll say is most web designers, particularly in smaller markets, they're small time. A lot of them are people that dabble in web design and they're not there 2 years later. And I have many friends that own businesses, and the story I hear over and over and over again is, yeah, I have a website, but I can't even get a hold of anyone anymore to change it, let alone upgrade it. And so that's one problem. But the other problem that I see with most web designers is they're not marketers. And so why can I say I'm a marketer? Now, Chris and I, our story is kind of interesting. Obviously, with our backgrounds, he was finance. I'm accounting and finance and law. You're probably wondering, well, how in the heck did you get in a technology business, let alone a marketing business? And it's kind of funny, when we both turned away from what our educations were and went into business together years ago, we actually went into a sales-focused business. And the reason why that's important is we've actually built a business that isn't web design. So there's a lot of web designers that may be successful because they sell websites or web design services. We've actually been in a transaction, product-based business that's commission only. So we actually know how to sell. We've been through the very difficult selling process, which most of our clients don't even have to worry about that. But what I'm saying to you is, if you're in a commission-based transactional sales business, anyone can tell you that's one of the hardest businesses to do, regardless of what the product or service is you're selling. We've actually had success in that type of business. And part of that success was getting to know the internet and websites and growing with the internet. And as a result, Chris and I have been marketing with Google since Google had paid advertising. We're also certified AdWords professionals, and we're also certified with Microsoft Ad Center, which is the other major platform. And there are other marketing platforms that we work with. And most small businesses don't even know what I'm talking about. The ones that do don't even know where to start. And so the point is, we've actually had success in our own business. And what's interesting is Vingenti Media, as I mentioned earlier, is actually a former division of our parent company that we needed to actually have success running our businesses, because we needed clients or customers to talk to in order to sell. And so every small business to medium-sized business has that same issue, is they need to have a way to generate people to talk to, and a website's a place you can do that. So I wanted to tell you why we're good. We're not the average web designer because, graphic artists, they're a dime a dozen. We've got a team of them that we have access to. And web designers are a dime a dozen. But having somebody that really understands sales, what I can do and what Chris can do is we can sit down with you and say, okay, what is your business? How do you typically get a person from first contact into buying whatever it is you're selling, whether it be a product or service? And then we can tailor the website to fit right into that sales process. And I will tell you, most web designers don't even understand a sales process. They may talk about it, but if they've never truly sold in a transactional sense, I can tell you they're really not even going to know what I'm talking about. So this is important because most websites don't approach the marketing point of view. It's just kind of like we're going to put something out there that looks good. Now, I will tell you, putting something out there that looks good is a great start, and it's a heck of a lot better than what most small businesses out there are doing, even if they have a website. But what we're saying is, let's take it to the next level. So if you do decide to do some advertising and do some marketing, you actually have a website that is thinking in the sense of conversion and converting sales. Now, oftentimes people say, okay, well, I don't even know where to start. Well, we understand that successful small to medium business people really just need to work on their business. And you really don't want to work in your business. And when you're working in your business, it means you're doing a bunch of admin things that really don't bring in the money. And if you're the decision maker or the boss or both, you need to be doing things that are making your business money. Now, yes, you can make the argument that spending time on a website with us is going to be making you money, but our philosophy is you don't need to get all tangled up in all the particulars. We'll need a little bit of time from you. Obviously, we need to know what it is you do, and we need to know a little bit about your business, but our whole approach is to take what you're doing and pull it into what we're doing, and that's help you get a website. So the point is, we're the experts, let us guide you. And so the most common question we get is, what's the next step? And it's a 3-step process, and really the first step is scheduling your free consultation. And the free consultation will be your chance to ask questions, to get clarification on anything that you've seen on us or websites or whatever it is you need to know to make a decision on what's right for your business. And so to keep it simple, silly, which we call KISS, keep it simple, silly, schedule your free consultation. We'll get step 1 out of the way, and then we can start moving on to step 2 and 3, which will lead you to getting the website that your business deserves.